Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here I have a great article for you guys from SDX Central. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys may check it out. So here we go again. I mean, we're back at US Cellular being an acquisition target because apparently T-Mobile mentioned it during Q4 earnings. I must have skipped that part. I don't remember that. I'll have to rewatch Q4 earnings. But apparently they said it. And it's being quoted in this article. So Peter Osvaldik, during the fourth quarter earnings, he stated, the carrier is trying to look at the highest value creation opportunity around investing in its network, growth of its core business and adjacent businesses. Then he goes on to say, then of course, we'll look at all other things beyond that, whether that's in the fiber space, whether that's US Cellular. We look at that process and see, are there value creating opportunities? I mean, that's straightforward, right? The fiber space, he doesn't mention anyone. He just labels it as the fiber space because there's lots of possible potential players there that they could look into, like Frontier, Lumen, who knows, right? But then he goes on to say, specifically calling out US Cellular. So they must have been looking at this for some time already. So I still don't know how much sense it really makes for the company. So that's probably why they haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. But if you think about it, right, how much would T-Mobile have to pay to get US Cellular and its spectrum and all the other assets? Maybe they're only going to attempt to try to buy a certain bulk of the company, not all of it. It's possible, but let's think about it, right? So it's going to cost them, maybe let's just put out a number. This is just an example. Let's say it's going to cost them $2 billion to acquire the asset that they're looking into. Then they get that, and then it's going to cost them, billions more to deploy and integrate depending on what they purchase. So at that point, does the math make sense? Would it be cheaper potentially to just build out your own network, your native network, your own asset, your own tower sites, whatever, lease them back, deploy your equipment without acquiring another asset? That's the billion-dollar question here. And how T-Mobile, how are they looking at this, and how engaged are they potentially in this acquisition target? It's very interesting because now it's not a rumor or a speculation anymore. It's now literally being talked about by T-Mobile. They are saying we're looking at it. I'm not saying that this is the end all be all, like they're now acquiring US Cellular. No, they're just saying it could be a potential acquisition target, including a fiber asset. In my honest opinion, and I'll be very honest to close out the video, the fact that they are lowering the capital means they have a large part of their wireless asset deployed, which is the 2.5 and 600. So they're stepping down a bit. So could we potentially see another ramp up in CapEx on just wireless? Possibly not. But what we could see a ramp up in CapEx is that fiber asset in the fiber space that they're talking about. But again, I'm still torn about that too. I had a conversation about that this morning with someone. I just don't know. Are they just going to do fiber to the home? In my opinion, if they want to do this, they got to go all out. If they're going to acquire a fiber asset, they got to do fiber to the home and they got to do fiber to the cell. But as far behind as they are in the fiber space, I mean, they don't own any fiber. I mean, that's a 10 plus year project right off the bat. If they engage, I mean, of course, the asset that they buy, I'm sure they're going to look into an asset that already has substantial fiber deployed, but they're still going to have to deploy, right? They're going to probably look for an asset that has more fiber than copper, which the market and the street will probably be happy with, but it's still going to require a ton of capital to continue to deploy this asset. And then if they want to do fiber to the cell, I mean, that's going to require billions too. And then in the future, eventually fiber to the small cell. I mean, golly, they're looking at, being right around CapEx of what the others are doing. The 16, 17, $18 billion CapEx annually just to deploy this with any type of urgency and scale. So this is going to get interesting. We will see. I don't expect, now this is just me speculating. I don't expect us to hear any of this in the first half of 24. I expect us to get an announcement if they are going to make any moves in the second half of the year, if not in 2025. But the fact that they are discussing this and bringing it up, I mean, it's pretty clear that they are looking into this. That's no secret. They are actively analyzing and looking at the numbers to see if it makes sense for them and the shareholders. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're looking for a big deal from T-Mobile in the fiber space or maybe US Cellular. Let us know in the comments. It's now coming from T-Mobile, so it's out there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you're new, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.